Okay, hello my audience over there on the other side of the screen. Today I'm going to talk to you about this book over here, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And this is a book that is written by a psychiatrist, about psychotherapy. And it's a very, very, very well written book. The flow of the writing is very excellent. And it deals with, hard stuff of life and being a psychotherapist. There are a couple of case stories about his patients, and he talks about the problem of unconscious and subconscious compared to the conscious mind, and how the different kind of schools of psychology look at that and interpret mental illness and neurosis and also character disorders through their own lens. And I think his own way of looking at it, is more, based on experiences. He also talks about here that in some situations you even have to break the kind of rules or the ways that psychotherapy is usually done with some patients. And I feel that exactly about this field, that it has the same kind of thing in it as art, and especially improvisational art. I think psychotherapy is very improvisational. Even though of course I have no idea about this from the other side of actually doing this. He talks about holding back as the psychotherapist, and I feel that there's great amount of stuff that you can learn from a psychotherapist related to your own style. If your psychotherapist is very good, you will become a very much better, a communicator. And holding back is one of the best skills you can learn in dealing with people. You can call it courteousness or something like that, but it's the things you don't do when you are kind of it's those things you don't do when you interact with people. And if you think about this, that you are dealing with somebody who doesn't do those things almost everybody else is doing, and you, for example, have a patient that has drug use problems or some kind of whatever, added behavior to their life. You could call drug using an added behavior, because if you just lie around, you don't do that. You kind of learn to do it. And for example, thinking about suicide is also kind of added behavior. You kind of start doing it and you learn to do it. And it's very much, I could say the psychotherapist's way of being is to mirror for you that way of not doing that thing, Don't hurt yourself. It's kind of I'm here, I'm holding back, This is how your mind should behave, It's kind of conditioning the mind through the psychotherapist, way of behavior to start behaving in that same way. And that's very, very, beneficial and healthy for you. And he doesn't explain it through this, but I feel that that's what I feel from experience. He talks about the parenting, the first phases of parenting and how they might relate to the character disorders and psychosis. He talks about how psychotic people have something very bad gone wrong in the first stage of their growing up, the infant stage. And those with character disorders, something from month 6 to 2 years old, and then from 2 years old to 5 years old, it's like neurosis. And what I know, what's a character disorder? You talk about multiple personality disorder. That's a character disorder, or narcissism. Those are character disorders. And then you have neurosis, that is more like we have this neurotic behavior in this human being, and he says that it's easier to cure. But he also says that if the person has the strong will to grow, not heal, not get better, but to grow, he can even overcome psychosis, you know. So it's very, like, he tells the field in such depth over here in this book, that I really think that this is a really great individual, you know. Like, I feel that this is a really great individual through this book, and a really, you know, like, how would I say it, a really artistic way to do like therapy this man has. And he talks about how he got better in it, and I like this book. It was great read, and yeah. And the case studies over here, you know, the patients that he talks about are very interesting also. But there's this book over here also that I like in the back. There's also available from the same author. This is called People of the Lie, and I thought that this is really interesting because I have been reading books about, you know, the mafia and well, basically books about people, like evil people. I don't deem that everybody in the mafia has been even close to evil, you know, but some have. And he talks about here about about case studies where he has recognized like evil in the person. And it's a very different kind of game if we have, you know, like how like it's very interesting question. Like, is evil like, is it some kind of, you know, neurotic thing that happens? Is every psychotic individual evil? You know, of course not. So where does it come from? Well, I also, if I say one thing I don't like about this book is that at some point you kind of feel that this is a field that tries to take like not authorship, but like authority over truth. And that's what I feel many times about the medicine, you know, that they try to take ownership or authority over the truth. And I think it's very arrogant of the field and very blind to do that. But I'm gonna also say that he kind of, you know, maneuvers you around that, and he says in the end that that's not what I mean. Look at these case studies and look what happened here, you know. He talks religion and how some of his patients in the start of the process were very religious, and how some of the patients in the end of the process somehow became religious, and how he talks about that kind of, you know, detachment, not directly, but he makes it very clear that the psychotherapist is detached in a way that is not like uncaring, you know, like that's different. But he has to kind of also in his own behavior show the separateness of the other people. He talks about also things related to enlightenment over here, not directly, but he talks about that oneness that the infant feels related to the world and not being able to separate itself from the world. And if you are into like spirituality and that kind of stuff, this is also a very important book. And I feel that the biggest goal that this guy tells in this book about psychotherapy is very much true. It's self-realization. So the road less traveled, it probably is the road less traveled, you know. He says that one of the most brave things that a human being can do actually is to go to psychotherapy, and I kind of agree actually. It can be kind of terrifying, but not on the same level as encountering a murderer, but it can be kind of terrifying. And yeah, I'm actually contemplating about going to therapy again. Let's see if I will. Thanks for watching.